I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of The Atlantic. To me, it's a magazine that's going out of business.
It is truly amazing how a man that claims to be so chock full of knowledge doesn't know a fucking thing that's going on in his administration. It's completely on brand for his response to be, "Oh, I knew nothing about it. I don't know my ass from my elbow. I know nothing about it." Come on! Now, if you haven't figured it out already, this is in reference to the war leaks by the United States government using the messaging app Signal. Now, at that point, you might as well use Telegram and go ahead and collect your steak monthly bonus while you're at it. Essentially, what happened, the top security officials at the White House created a text thread on Signals to talk about the attack on Yemen. Now, where it gets a little bit weird is Mike Waltz, or somebody within the thread, somehow added the chief editor of The Atlantic to it. Now that in itself is just an unprofessional mishandling of information that literally cannot be possible unless your uncle is a monkey. Or you're just that incompetent. And this shit is coming from an administration that claims to care so heavily about national security. Like one of the main things they ran on. And some high-level officials were in this thread. We're talking Tulsi Gabbard, J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, John Ratcliffe, so many people. Like literally the director of the CIA. Well, our CIA director is so incompetent, a 15-year-old could run the shit. Now, topics were discussed that should never, ever reach the public's eye or even have the avenue to get there. I mean, they were talking current intelligence plans, targets, attack sequencing, things you do not want your enemies to know. Because if your enemies know, they know to line their defenses, and then you're fucked. These are things that could have been intercepted and used by the enemy. And what's even more funny is the app Signal was actually brought to the attention of government officials, and they released a memo surrounding the security risks with the app, with the messaging app itself. It's like maybe these people need to work on their reading comprehension a little better. Or just open their fucking email. I mean, at least Jeff Goldberg actually cares enough not to leak the information in real time. At least he waited until after the fact, so he didn't put anybody in danger. Our own government didn't even think of those consequences. So not only did they put your loved ones at risk, they have just not handled this with any grace whatsoever. No apologies, no accountability has been taken. These people are deflecting and deflecting because they know they fucked up. They make it seem like the people questioning them are dumb. You know what's dumb? Insulting our intelligence. These people are so careless. There was a member of the group chat in Moscow when this text thread was going on. In Moscow. In enemy territory. Like at that point, why don't we just let the whole world know our plans? Why don't we just make a little post on Truth Social outlining every little fucking detail we have planned? How does that make sense? Shame on this administration for the lack of security for our nation. Start treating us like people. Start treating this like a place where we can thrive, where people can be successful. Not like we're a number. This isn't a corporation. We weren't born at FedEx. We weren't born at Amazon. We were born in the USA, so start treating it that way. We are more than a statistic. This is not a major corporation. We are not just a number. And once we start realizing that, it's going to be a whole lot harder for them to say shit. So with the majority of the yapping out of the way, let me get to some of these clips of the testimony today given by Tulsi Gabbard and John Ratcliffe and just a few other people. And just you could see in their eyes how unapologetic they really are. How much they really have zero remorse for what they did or what could have went wrong. I mean, thank God it didn't go wrong. Thank God it went perfect, right, Trump? But yeah, here's the clip.
American lives could have been lost. The Houthis had this
what
information.
What these people are
could
saying
position
are facts.
Their defensive systems.
And the testimony that follows,
get a little more information about this.
They have no remorse.
Did you
and just look at the nervousness in their eyes.
Defense and other Trump senior officials discussing the Yemen war plans?
Senator, I don't want to get into the specifics.
Ma'am, were you on? You're not going to be willing to address
it. Question.
So you're not, are you denying, will you answer my question, ma'am? You were not TG on this group chat?
can't even answer.
I'm not going to get into the specifics.
So you
of the
Look
refuse
at
to
that.
acknowledge
Look how
whether
much
you
they
were
are
on
trying
this
to
group chat.
skirt around this. They do
Senator,
not want to
I'm not
incriminate
going to get
themselves.
into the
Why are
And
you
they know
going
they're
to
in
get
the
into
wrong.
specifics? Is
That's the most
it because
craziest
it's all
thing.
classified?
because this is currently under review by the National Security
Because it's
Council.
all classified? If it's not classified, share the text now.
Exactly.
As the White House
And
previously
Is
they
it
won't.
classified or
They will
non-classified
not share it with
information
the
on this
public.
text?
I can
It was
confirm.
Director
classified.
Radcliffe, were you on the group chat?
Senator, I was on a signal
They're
messaging
trying so
group.
carefully
So
not
you were
to
the
say
John
the wrong
Radcliffe
thing.
on that chat?
I was.
Thank you, thank you.
Can I provide some context, Senator, to that?
Yes, but I've got a series of questions.
Well, but I think it's important because at the outset, you made a couple of comments about signal messaging using encrypted apps. So that we're clear, one of the first things that happened when I was confirmed as CIA
All right,
director.
so he goes into
was
how
Signal was loaded
basically
onto my
Signal
computer
is
at the CIA, as it is
used
for most
for
CIA
workplace
officers.
purposes. Other than that,
One
we're
of
gonna
the things
skip this
that I
guy.
was briefed on very early.
It's an embarrassment.
Senator,
You need to do better. You need to do better.
Thank you all for joining us and for your service.
This
Just to
guy
make sure I
also
understand
does
some of the
really, really
basics here.
good
So Director Radcliffe, you
interrogating
were a
these
member
people.
of the
I guess
DPC small
is the
group signal
word.
chain, correct?
It seems like
I
an
was, yeah,
interrogation.
Yeah, and so were the Vice President, the Secretaries of State and Defense, the National Security Advisor, and Ms. Gabbard,
Oh, this will
correct?
be the last little clip.
I believe so. I don't have a list of who was invited to be on.
And so was national political reporter Jeffrey Goldberg, correct?
I don't know that.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
I don't know
He
Jeffrey
knows.
Goldberg.
He knows that.
and I
They
don't
all know
ever
that.
he
They all know
testified.
everything
I don't
about
know
what the fuck happened.
whether or how
not
he
let
was
them fool
at
you.
it.
Okay, well, he was a member of the
'Cause they're
signal
gonna
chain.
try.
And the discussion included the Vice President's private opinion on the wisdom of proposed U.S. strikes in Yemen, correct?
I don't recall.
Vance, quote, I think we are making a mistake. I am not sure the president is
This guy
aware of
somehow
how
doesn't
inconsistent this is
recall
with his
anything.
message on Europe right now. There was a strong
Does,
argument
definitely
for
doesn't
delaying
recall
this a
J.D.
month.
Vance never agreeing with Trump, it seems like. But in the public's eye, they're
You don't
the
recall?
best fucking
I
duo.
don't-
since
as you-
peanut
as
butter
you-
and
You don't recall
jelly,
seeing that?
apparently.
Read that. I don't.
It included the private opinions of the Secretary of Defense on the timing of strikes in Yemen, correct?
I don't recall.
I don't
Director Radcliffe,
recall.
surely you prepared for this hearing today. You were part of a group of principals,
God, these
senior
people are
echelons of the U.S.
terrible
government,
liars.
in now a widely publicized breach of sensitive information. You don't recall whether the Vice President opined on the wisdom of the strikes? That's your testimony today under oath?
In that setting, I don't recall.
Here's what Secretary Hegseth said,
In
quote,
that
waiting a few
setting,
weeks or
I
months
don't
does not
recall.
fundamentally change the calculus. Two immediate risks
what
on
setting would he
waiting.
recall
One,
in?
this leaks
Prison?
and we look indecisive.
I bet he recalls
Two,
then.
Israel takes an action first or Gaza ceasefire falls apart and we don't get to start this on our own terms. Your testimony is you don't recall the Secretary of Defense sending that message or reading it?
I
don't
recall there
recall much of
being
anything.
an exchange. I don't recall the specifics as you're reading it.
Well, let's put it this way, Director Radcliffe, a discussion by senior U.S. officials on the timing and risks of a proposed military campaign and disagreements between the president and the vice president about U.S. plans and intentions would be of obvious interest to foreign intelligence
would.
services, would it not?
Yes.
Yes, I can say that. I can say that,
And they
can
were
I?
discussing the time.
There you go. As you see, zero remorse, and they're sweating the whole time. They're trying not to say incriminating evidence, and they're just not gonna talk. They've learned from the best. If you play stupid, you'll get away scot-free. Works every fucking time, huh? Do not let them use the 24-hour news cycle to hide behind, and do not allow them to use their stupidity as a pillar to hide behind, because they all know what they did wrong. Continue to talk about it and push it and share it until they are held accountable, because they just set a very bad precedent for the rest of this administration, and it's just two words: unprofessional and incompetent. They are not above the law, so stop allowing them to be. This was a breach in national security that we have not seen in a very, very long time, and the only reason they got lucky was because nothing bad came of it, and they are lucky. But they need to fix their holes, and they need to fix it quick. I'd love to get your thoughts on this, what you believe the severity of this issue is or could have been, or what you think should happen to the people that caused this to happen. Drop it in the comments. Let me know. I would love some debate. This was a peak discussion on the United States war plans leak. I will chat at you in the next one.